edition of Gator Therapy, where I'm talking about gators as I'm healing with some medical therapy, but also as therapy to heal the souls of gators who have been dealing with angst over their gators for 4 years now. Things are looking much better for myself and for these gators. And before I forget, I want to give a little shout out to my middle school aged kid, my son, who designed the little header heading into these videos. He was excited to help his dad, and I'm very proud of him. Well, Sunday, December 22nd, 2024 was a good day. Florida got 3 commitments this day. 2 from the transfer portal, both were much needed depth pieces for a roster that doesn't have too many holes depth wise. And then 1 for their signing class in 2025, and he happens to be the top player in the class, in Florida's 25 class. Let's go chronologically from the way the commitments fell on Sunday. First, quarterback Deshaun Purdy, Charlotte, 6'4", 200 pounds, was a true freshman in 2024. He ended up going 100 for 200 for 1,802 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions as a true freshman. Those are really good numbers for a true freshman playing a decent schedule. They had a couple of FBS teams that he did well against. But the thing is the guy started 9 games for Charlotte, and he's willing to come here and compete against a fellow sophomore to be in DJ Lagway, a guy that nobody would expect him to beat out, and I don't imagine that he expects that. The fact that he could have gone many places or stayed in Charlotte and likely started, and has decided to come to Florida, it boggles the mind how much of a good get that is for this staff. A real surprise, in my opinion. When I heard his name, I'm like, well, he started 9 games. I don't see it happening. But they got it done. They really did. And they've been getting it done on the recruiting trail for a little bit now, for a few weeks now. The second one that committed on Sunday was edge rusher Kofi Asare from UMass. He's a 6'5", 250-pound sophomore. Really quick, really strong. The thing that really stood out to me was his strength. At 250 pounds, he's great size for an edge guy. He had 30 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss. 3 of those were sacks. He had a quarterback hurry, a pass broken up, and 1 forced fumble in the 2024 season. Like I said, really fast, gets off the edge, really relentless, and he uses his strength wisely, but also devastatingly. He really crushes people when he gets after it. Again, I think Florida has some pretty good pieces already intact for the at the edge rusher positions. So I think he's going to be able to come in and really help. But this guy could be the sleeper of the class. He really could be, or at least the transfer class. He really could be that guy. He could be another George Gums who comes in and just, inevitably his athleticism and his ability to do things gets him on the field more than other guys on the field. So we'll see how that pans out. But I think the George Gums comparison is good, except for the fact that he's probably a little bulkier. He's probably as tall. He's 6'5", so he's probably a little bulkier, maybe a little stronger, maybe not quite as good in dropping back into coverage as Gums was. So he probably play the opposite side. But I think it's an excellent pick for a position on the roster that has quality players and is really looking for a depth piece to come in this year and maybe take over again in 2026 rather than 2025. Anyway, and then of course the third one from the high school ranks, Florida finally got the signature papers from wide receiver Dallas Wilson, who's a 5-star prospect, the only 5-star in the class. So the top player in the recruiting class for 2025, a one that they're still going to build on going forward. But right now, no anticipation of anybody of signing anybody higher than this guy. But man, he's 6'3". He's 195 pounds, so he's got really great size. He can fly. He can make all the catches. He's got a little swag about him. He's very agile. Everything you want. That's why he's a 5-star receiver. Big time talent from Tampa. An in-state kid where Florida really, really killed it this year in state recruiting, and getting him when he actually signed with Oregon 2 weeks ago and backed out was just an absolute coup. So, kudos to this staff that we've seen a handful of guys in the last couple of years that committed, maybe even signed elsewhere, and then came back and came to Florida. I think there's 4 players from the last recruiting class and this recruiting class that have done that, and it's pretty amazing. That I think the part that they do so well is all the off-season recruiting from January basically to August. And they recruit and they get these guys on campus and they do all this stuff, and the kids really know what to expect when they get to Florida. And the problem they've had in the previous 3 years is the record, the losing seasons, the fan volatility over that. But what happened this year? The fans got back on board. They won. They have a winning season. They finished with 8 wins with a schedule that nobody expected that kind of number. And I think all that love that they built from January to August pays off for a guy like Dallas Wilson. And here we are, the top player in the class, heading to Florida, and a guy that has a really good shot at starting as a true freshman in 2025. Anyway, Gators, if this isn't healing, if this isn't therapy, I don't know what is, but it certainly makes the heart feel good. And it makes me feel good. And so glad to share it with you. Hey, if you like these videos, give me a follow, give me a like on the video. I'm trying to build this thing. Really just got started. This is the second video, and we're going to do a lot of these. Thanks.